Hold on. Carefully. Can you read it? Out loud?
Yeah.
Sure. It says, Dear Liam, happy 8th birthday. Mrs. Trump and I hope you enjoy this special occasion surrounded by the love of your family and friends. We are so encouraged by the strength and determination you have shown throughout your young life and send our love and best wishes to you as you continue to fight. Remember, you are never alone, and we are keeping you in our thoughts and prayers for continued care and good health. May God bless you and your family. Stay strong. Sincerely. Can you tell me who signed that? You knew it was your birthday coming up? What do you say to him?
Thank you. I love you.
What else do you say?
Thank you.
Enemy territory here. What's up, everybody? It is Friday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, along with the fabulous Shelly E. As we always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. If you miss us here on YouTube, you can watch us on Rumble or listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. Guys, we are an independent media, and if you want to support what we do, your super chats and donations go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Any amount is appreciated. Special shout out to our members tonight, the Freedom Seekers. Certainly appreciate you guys joining the Freedom Seekers Club here. And again, you got more people can join as well. All right. As I always say, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving patriots, people that understand we are living in urgent times. There's a target on our backs because we value freedom, yet we must continue to stand with us, subscribe. That way we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, Shelly, let's set it off.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So you saw that cute video at the top of the show. For those of you guys who haven't seen that, that's a viral video of 8-year-old Liam, who suffers from a rare brain disorder. As you can see in that video, Gateway Pundit reporting, he was reading a heartfelt letter from President Trump, his favorite president, encouraging him to keep fighting. Shelly, this is a rare side of President Trump we don't often see in the media. What did you think of that exchange, that video?
I don't think it's so rare. I just think we don't see it. I think those are two different things. Yeah. There are stories, have been stories, many stories of Trump helping people, including employees, even the cleaners or maids or whatever in his hotels, helping other people. So I don't think it's rare at all. What you don't really find in people who are giving, you really don't find them bragging about it in one way or another. You don't just find that people who just want to give because they're generous or just because they want to give something. Most people who just do something and then brag about it, it's all for show. The focus is really on themselves, not the person or whatever the cause is that they're giving to. So the media never shows this. But I will say one thing. I'm not a particular fan of using children, right or left, in media. Maybe you want to call it propaganda. And I'm not anti this. I thought it was a cute moment. I'm sorry about Liam. I even said happy birthday to him on X. but I'm not a fan of using children one way or the other on either side.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't look at it as using him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who put the actual initial video out. I don't know if it was his mom, or it had to be his mom who videotaped it, as we can see. I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how it's used. In this situation, it would have been one thing if President Trump went to the house and was sitting with him and then they pushed it out on all of his channels. But this did seem kind of sincere, kind of something that was just wasn't planned, wasn't staged. You know, he's with his mom, he's reading this letter, and I guess his mom sent it out.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not criticizing these people. Don't get me wrong. But to say that it wasn't planned or staged, it very much was so.
Oh, you mean you think the Trump campaign staged it?
Or his mom, whomever. I mean, they knew they had gotten the card or the.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, his mom, of course, took the video and put it out there.
Yeah,
what I was saying is I don't know about it being something that was put together by the Trump campaign,
right?
To push it out, things like that. But I did like it. I did, because we see, you know, even when the debate was going on ABC, we know that they did put out the numbers, and I think we get 88%, I think it was, of negative coverage of President Trump, and Kamala Harris, on the other hand, got like 80% positive coverage of her. So I did like it. I thought it was something.
Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that it was put out there, and I think more of this needs to be pushed out. You know, again, not to brag or anything, but it's just nice to see him getting, you know, doing nice things instead of all of this negativity that we've seen, because we know he does do this type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So that brings me to, you know, his plans. So we did see over the last couple of days since the debate, President Trump has unveiled a new plan to reduce the tax burden on working class Americans. Take a look at this. This is clip 1.
Today, I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that. Think of that. That gives people more of an incentive to work. It gives the companies it's a lot easier to get the people. And, you know, I went to some economists, great ones, and I said, what do you think? They said, it would be unbelievable. You'll get a whole new workforce by doing that. No taxes on overtime. The people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them. Those are the people. They really work. They're police officers, nurses, factory workers, construction workers, truck drivers, and machine operators. It's time for the working man and woman to finally catch a break, and that's what we're doing, because this is a good one. And I think it's going to be great for the country. So that's why we will be saying that if you're an overtime worker, when you're past 40 hours a week, think of that. Your overtime hours will be tax-free. Okay, good. You're going to have it too.
Wow. So that, what are your thoughts on that plan, Shelley?
I think it's so great that Kamala Harris is going to steal it. She's going to steal it. That's how much they love Trump. They put this man down. They demean him. They mock him always from Sunday, but yet they do and steal everything that comes out that's good, and then they blame the things on him when it doesn't work that he long ago was not even in office for. So they love this man any way you want to cut it. So I think it's great. Number one, I think that's a great thing to do, to not tax Americans overtime. I think we're overtaxed on our base pay, no matter what. So I love this idea. And let me tell you another reason why, not even just from Shelley's opinion, but this is why. There's a law firm, the Borsellino law firm, that represents workers who have claims for unpaid overtime. And according to them, some Americans are working up to 20 hours a week more. Most of that, or at least some of that, is unpaid. So they should be getting paid for that. If you also know, there is, according to the Time magazine, about $20,000 worth of overtime goes unpaid. That's the numerical equivalent. So consider that for a family of two, that's almost $40,000 a year that they are not getting paid in overtime. So not to mention what is taxed in those amounts when you are getting overtime paid and it's taxed. So it's too much. It shouldn't happen. Why should you work your 40 hours a week? And then your time and a half when you're working over, you're doing something for the company. The company is paying you for it by law, like they should. And then you're still getting more of your money eaten up because it raises your income level. So that means you're getting, in a sense, double taxed.
Yeah. Not only that, first of all, I think this is a phenomenal plan. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's something where many Americans can relate to. Personally, I can. I remember working overtime. And, first of all, generally you're working overtime to make more money. It's exactly. A situation where, regular pay is not cutting it. Usually people work overtime during holidays and things like that. And the thing that used to upset me is you work overtime, you're putting in these extra long hours, and the taxes eat up most of the overtime pay.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you can see that they take out I remember you getting your check and you're like, man, I put in all these hours and taxes ate up most of it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to have the ability of not being taxed on that overtime, I mean, this is brilliant. Not only is it a plan that encourages work, it encourages efficiency because you're doing more for your job, your career, your company, but then you're getting more out of it. I think it's brilliant. I love it.
It is brilliant. It's a win-win. It's a win-win for the company, for the employees. And keep in mind, most people in America are going to be W-2 employees in some way, shape, or form, right? Now, you may have a side business. That's great. But for the most part, you're going to get your main pay and your main benefits from being a W-2 employee.
Right.
I don't think it's not. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but why? And people want to work. Americans are hardworking. Are there some lazy people? Yes, there are. That's a given. But Americans are hardworking people. And one thing Americans like to do, they like to spend. They like to spend their money.
Absolutely. And not only that, but it's a way in which people feel a burden lifted, but it's not a situation where the government is giving more money out. This is our money. Exactly. We're getting our money back. We're getting less taxes on our own hard-earned money. And this is another plan in which Trump is pushing forward that is pro-worker. It's a pro-worker policy that helps not only individuals but families. Right. New York Times reports the latest Siena poll found that Trump is beating Kamala Harris among working class voters by 17 points. Now you compare that to 2020 when the category favored Trump by just 4 points. So this may have a pretty significant impact on the race.
Right. Yeah. These polls that are coming out that are showing Trump and Kamala Harris, either neck and neck or in a statistical dead heat. And some of them are showing that Trump is still leading maybe 1 or 2 percentage points. But what I have not seen, and again, today is Friday, maybe it'll come out over the weekend. What I have not seen is a significant bump since the debate for Kamala Harris.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank God. I haven't seen it either. And we're going to get to her in a moment. I want to move forward to, though, this viral clip of Matt Walsh's new movie, along, of course, with the Daily Wire, Am I a Racist? So Matt Walsh's new movie, Am I a Racist, is out. And it is creating gigantic waves throughout the left and DEI community. It's intended to serve as a deconstruction of the movement, similar to when he brought out What is a Woman documentary in 22. So it's that one, of course, tackled gender ideology. So this one, I have a clip here for you guys. This clip is a basically showing his infiltration into the crazy race to dinner thing. This is this thing that leftists do called race to dinner, where they is a bunch of white women go out, and it's led by some black woman who basically tells them how racist they are. So take a look. This is insane.
Am I Racist? Rated PG-13. Buy tickets now.
Wow. Who would do this? I mean, are these white women really this self-hating?
Yeah.
How is this helpful?
Well, they're having their own little private therapy group, on their own dime and time. It's stupid. It is self-mutilating, if you ask me. But I think it's hilarious that he was just able to do that. How was he able to get in there and do that and then set up those cameras? And I just think it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It is. It's funny, but then on the other hand, it's like people are really gathering for these conversations to basically have these pity parties about how they have this supposed supremacy, and they have this woman there to show them how racist they are. And I'm thank God he put this movie out, and the left is going crazy behind it. They're doing everything they can to prevent people from seeing this film, even at the lowest levels. I mean, you got people out there saying that they at the movie theater saying that they're going to do everything they can to convince people not to go see this.
Right.
I mean, but I can't even believe something like this is going on.
I mean, I can, just like they have what is that? We call it mono race or one race, if you will, dorms in some college campuses, blacks only or whatever. They put white people off of the campus in the school in Seattle. They ran the professor off the campus. I think Brett Weinstein was his name a few years ago. I can believe this. But what was hilarious about that was that woman, I guess she was considering herself, what do you call it? BIPOC. White people, you don't get to white people pointing fingers at white people is not the right or not the answer, but it's okay for them to do it.
Right. And they even did the toast. They called themselves racist. I mean, I'm not racist. I'm not racist.
You
heard her say that, yeah. Now I wanted to, because this is, of course, Matt Walsh put this out, and he was kind of infiltrated this whole movement. But this is actually a real serious movement. And I have a clip just to give you guys some information behind the impetus of this. These women go around all over the country doing these talks, these dinners in white women's homes, talking about so they could acknowledge their racism. It's weird. It's crazy. Take a look at this. I have the clip here.
Mm-hmm. What is like the tangible work that these women do? They're there, they open up to whatever extent they're, allowing themselves to and receiving whatever you all are telling them. What is the desired outcome? They go back into their communities and their social circles and do what?
Talk. Stop the nonsense. I want to add, because I think we missed Indigenous and Black people are on the bottom. Okay. Talk to your husbands. These men that are creating the violence out there, these are their husbands, their sons, their brothers, their grandfathers, their uncles. So talk to those people. Talk to other white women. Open up your mouth, call a thing, and quit pretending like you don't see the violence and the nonsense. Stop pretending. Just because you pretend you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, and like, look, white men are at the top of the food chain, right? They're on the throne. Who's holding up the throne? White women, right? White women are holding up the throne. Look at the numbers. 53% of white women voted for Donald Trump the first time. After Donald Trump proved himself to be a whole fascist, 56% voted for him. More, right? So our pedagogy is white women, stop caping for whiteness. Stop propping up whiteness. Join gender intersectional solidarity, and we can overthrow all of it. But it starts with you. You have.
Wow. I want to stop it. This is Marxism. This is blanket Marxism. But my question is, I mean, who would sit and let somebody tell them this? For instance, let's say if the tables were reversed, and let's say I was a racist. Or no, let's say I would never have someone come into my home, and I would never attend a dinner where we're toasting to ourselves for being racist, and you're telling me that it's just backwards. It's weird.
It's self-flagellation and self-mutilation. That's basically what it is. Look, these dinners are costing, I think I read almost $3,000 a pop. Per person that attends. Okay, with these two main women, I forget their names, Regina Jackson and Sarah Rayo, however you pronounce her last name. So this, I guess, Hispanic woman and this Black woman, they are grifting. This is just another form of grifting. You invite someone into your home to come and tell them basically how bad of a person you are. That's what you pay a counselor for, and to help you work through it in a healthy way, okay? That's what you go to your priest or confession, or you talk to your pastor for. This is utterly insane. But again, I'm laughing because I think it's also hilarious.
It is.
But keep in mind that the only people who have the time and the means to do this are people who have a lot of money and really no other, I'm going to say purpose, if you will, in life. They're bored. They are bored and they have no purpose and meaning to their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to acknowledge our super chatter here. Thank you so much. We have Gerard says, great show, ladies. Thank you so much, Gerard. Yeah, but again, it's just, I just can't believe people will pay to have this happen. And I hope, I don't understand. This is definitely what Kamala Harris is and the Democrat Party. They believe these types of things, fully. And so for a white woman to vote for this, I don't understand what the thinking is behind that. Even if you were racist, let's say you actually, believe, I have some bias. I do think racial ways. Why would you think this would be the answer? I think it goes along with that. These are women. They have, nice homes. Obviously, they want to invite other women in. They see it as kind of a sorority type, a girls thing. Doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, and it's also soft. It's easy. It doesn't look harmful. It doesn't look brutal or anything. So it fits very much in line with the aesthetics. Again, these are bored people. Only people who literally had nothing to do and a lot of money to do nothing do this. I mean, I hope you guys who are watching, I want to shout out Gerard for becoming a new member of Freedom Seekers. Thank you so much. But I hope you guys share this video with your friends and family and show them how insane the left has gotten. I mean, who would agree to do this? Again, and this is the inevitable end to racial, all this race and gender talk and things like this. This is where it ends, because this is why I don't agree with it. If you want to get to the bottom of any type of racial bias or racism, talk to people of different ethnicities, of different races. You actually befriend these people. And you learn from one another. That's the key to ending any type of racism, and you can still won't end it. You won't end it, but it's about becoming aware of other people's, how they live, how they act. That's what you do to end any type of racism, really.
Right. What I call real people, real time, real life. But first of all, these women, these white women who are allowing this in their homes, they're not racist. They believe they are because the media have told them that they are. These grifters, other people have told them they are. And basically what it is that they are afraid. They are afraid because they don't know what to do or basically how to move, if you will, among people who don't look like them. They also have this white guilt, this false sense of guilt for the material blessings that they have amassed or that they have created with their spouses. They have this false guilt. They don't know what to do. So these two grifters are, they are like honing in on that. They're using that. Yeah, they're taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and again, as you mentioned, for people to even think this way, it is an ego there. It's this. Again, this is why I don't subscribe to the whole idea of white privilege, because it's just like, who are you to say you have this privilege? You are better than because of your white skin, in a blanket statement of it. Not on individuality, but just you are just believe this blanket outright across the board for the races.
Right.
It's crazy.
And the irony of it is that those two grifters there, when they collect $2,500 per plate from the people, I bet they are pretty wealthy, but they don't see themselves as, having this guilt, whatever. They collecting $2,500 times 10 every house, and they're going to keep going past go.
Right. And you saw where she was like, when she was doing the toast, the black lady who was leading or facilitating the group, she said, I'm not racist. She put her cup down. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And again, as I mentioned, the left is going crazy, as they did over the What is a Woman documentary that was done by the Daily Wire. They are going crazy over this too, because people now can see the insanity behind this type of thing, and it's being uncovered. And that leads me to my next clip, which is Morning Joe. So Mika Brzezinski, of course, she's another insane white leftist woman, was on Morning Joe recently talking about Kamala Harris and how women need to vote for her just because she's a woman. And if you're black, you definitely need to vote for her because she's a black woman. Take a look here. This is clip 4.
Though, because I really feel the pride in her words. I think a lot of women across America were proud to be women when they watched Kamala Harris on the debate stage. It was her moment, and she took it, and she nailed it. It's just funny to me to hear that it's even an issue for some people, and I know it may be, that Kamala Harris is a woman of color, or she's a woman. Are Americans ready? And I immediately think, are they ready? Well, what? Are they ready for a psychopath? Are they ready for someone who wants to use the government to commit retribution against all of his opponents for no reason at all, who wants to destroy our democracy? That's not an exaggeration. That's not rhetoric. That's what he said. That's what he has been doing. And the next time around, as Ann Applebaum has very eloquently stated in a recent piece for The Guardian, for many dictators and wannabe dictators, the second chance is when they get it done. And it's happened in countries around the world where they fail the first time, they go to jail, or they don't get in there. And then the second time they know what they're doing. And Donald Trump will make sure that his first presidency looks like a walk in the park. So are we ready for a woman? That's not the question I think that should be asking, Gene Robinson. I think we got your audio going. It's like, are we ready to have I'm sorry, I'm just having spoken to experts, someone who seems to have psychotic tendencies running our government, who has plans to do things that are very counter.
Wow. This woman is unhinged. First, before we dig into this, Shelley, I want to acknowledge our super chatters. Thank you guys so much. We have here Florida Belle. Thank you. She says, you ladies are awesome. Certainly appreciate you, Florida Belle. Thank you. Gary says, love your program. Alex, thank you. Thank you so much. Shelley, okay, first of all, she hurled so many names and blanket nasty comments with no evidence, no data, no facts to back it up. She called him a psychopath. She said he was a dictator. Where did we see these things in his first term as president?
We did not, number one. And I keep hearing these people again. This is this emotionality, or whatever you want to call it, that, you know, this emotionalism, and they're trying to stir up. First of all, they know exactly what he said. This was in an interview I think he had with Sean Hannity, and Sean asked him basically, you know, what were you going to do, or are you going to be a dictator, or something to that degree on day one. I mean, and Trump said no, except for day one. I want to close the border and I want to drill. That's the context, and that's the quote. He was talking about on day one, he's going to make some carte blanche decisions, and that first decision is close the border and secure our country. If that's what a dictator is, bring it on in America, because that's what we need. I want that dictator, if that's what you call a dictator, to close our border. They know exactly what he meant. They are trying to trump up these fake emotions, get people all in a tizzy, and it's working pretty well for themselves on their side, that people actually believe this, and they take anything Trump says, and they will expand it and extrapolate from it to meaninglessness, and then they will get emotional over it. This is what they do. This is their playbook. Trump has no evidence of being a dictator. Their side has plenty of evidence of being such a character.
Absolutely. And speaking of the evidence, you know, instead of just calling names, let's talk about what they actually did. I mean, you had the Biden administration and the DOJ going after parents who just were showing up at PTA meetings concerned about sexuality pushed on their K through 12 children. I mean, that's a dictator. You had the Biden administration trying to force vax Americans through that horrible OSHA mandate, which thank God for the Supreme Court was struck down. I mean, that is a dictator. You had them closing down schools and force masking people. You had her VP, Kamala Harris's VP candidate, actually sending out police to shoot people with paintballs because they were on their porch during the pandemic. Exactly. These are all dictator moves. Exactly. But they continue to just hurl out these nasty names against Trump with no data, no facts. We all know he did not do anything that was related to being a dictator for all 4 years of his presidency.
And let's add to your list those lists during the scamdemic. They forced people out of work.
Yep.
They forced people to stay home and wait for some pennies on a stimulus check. Whether or not you got it, may or maybe not, you didn't get it. They forced millions of Americans. They shut down an economy. They designated certain professions as essential. Okay, of course, it's the ones that's going to benefit them. So they did that. They forced working people out of their jobs, such that these new jobs, quote unquote, that are being hired. These are people who are basically being rehired from losing their jobs during the scamdemic. 90% of them or more. These are people. They forced churches to close. No. They arrested people, not just here but across the country. Arrested people for taking a swim in the damn Pacific Ocean.
Right.
But Trump is the dictator.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But they're doing this to stoke fear, to push emotionalize people and things like that, so they won't vote for him. But they don't have any data behind any of these accusations that they're making. And I hope people are not falling for this. I really do. I really hope people do not fall for this madness, because that's what it is. They're insane. I mean, she is unhinged, and she believes. This is the crazy part. I mean, it'll be one thing if they were just trying to say these things, you know, just to kind of scare people. But she actually, the Mika Brzezinskis of the world believe what they are saying.
They do. I mean, again, fear is as powerful a motivator as any other emotion can be. So, we think only that fear should stop you from doing something, or, in a sense, it's the flip side. The flip side of the coin is that fear can make you do things as well, too. If people can manipulate, and particularly if you can manufacture the fear and put it on mass media, right? 24/7 loop. That's what's in your brain. That's what's in your mind. Then that is what a lot of people will run off of. Like, what is this? What's Dunkin' Donuts? People run on Dunkin'. Well, people also run on fear.
Absolutely. And Kamala Harris finally did an interview. Of course, it was on ABC, but she finally did an interview where she was asked questions about her plans. And part of the interview touched on guns and what she plans on doing with trying to ban guns. This is what we're talking about. You're talking about dictatorships. People, and she's actually changed it, because we have her on tape from when she ran in 2016. When she ran there, she was talking about actually gun confiscation, total gun confiscation. Now, she's not that brazen right now, because she knows that is just not where the country is. So she's trying to cover that up, but she's still talking about taking guns. Take a look at this, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Shelley. Here she is, and after the debate that we had on, was it Tuesday? Tuesday, she has a recent interview on ABC.
Your two major issues right at the forefront of voters' minds in Philadelphia as well, where crime is a significant issue. When we talk about crime, the conversation turns to gun safety as well. And I think you actually probably caught a lot of people off guard, maybe a bit by surprise in the debate the other night when you mentioned that you are a gun owner. I know you said it in 2019 as well. I want to talk about your values on this issue. When it comes to gun ownership, where do you draw the line in America on gun ownership and gun use?
Well, like you said, Brian, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz, my running mate, is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away. I support the Second Amendment, and I support reasonable gun safety laws. Part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body. And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need.
So I want to stop it right here for just a moment. She's clearly lying. So we know that most violence done in cities like Los Angeles, Baltimore here, are handguns. Is that correct, Shelley?
So wait a minute, say that one more time, Kate. I want to make sure I understood you.
Because she was saying that she was a prosecutor, and as a prosecutor, she's seen what gun violence looks like. She's had to look at autopsies and things like this. Most of gun violence in America are handguns.
Yes.
They're handguns.
Yes, that's true.
That's not what she's talking about here.
No, what she's talking universal background. They play on these words, okay?
Well, I want to get to that point. I just want to make that distinction here. Now she's talking. Now I want to get to what you're talking about here. Here she is.
Assault weapons ban. They're literally tools of war. They were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. I say we need universal background checks. The majority of NRA members support that. Why? Because it's just reasonable. You just might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves.
So can you respond to that portion of it, Shelley?
Okay, so she's mixing a lot of things here. Number one, usually when they say universal background checks, what they mean, they want you to be able to not buy guns at a gun store, a gun show, something like that. But wherever you buy a legal firearm in the United States, you have to get it from a legal firearm dealer or license, someone who has a license to sell those particular firearms or firearms in general. That's number one. Whenever you do that, you are getting a background check. Criminals don't go into firearm dealers, FFLs, and then try to buy a legal gun. That's not what criminals do. There is no background check for a criminal to buy an illegal gun. So they like to mix these things in because they are stoking fears and lies, and they are using people's emotions, trying to stir them up. In Maryland in particular, and other states may vary, but in Maryland, long guns, what they keep talking about, they use the word assault style weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
Long guns. When you purchase a long gun in Maryland, you still have to go legally. I'm talking about legally. You still have to go to a licensed firearms dealer. You still have to present your ID. They still run a background check. You still pay for the exchange or whatever. So your information is still on file. They are lying. They are lying. Criminals don't follow these laws. And you're right. Most of the crimes are committed with handguns, right? Whether they're stolen, whether they are straw purchases. Maybe someone purchased a firearm and gave it to someone who should not have had it. So it could be that. But criminals, by and large, are not following the rules.
Right. And this is what the crazy part about it is. She talks about she was a prosecutor. We know these social justice prosecutors try every way they know how not to prosecute the criminals.
Exactly.
So that is what we need. We need them to adhere to the laws. Just follow the laws that are on the books, enforce the laws that we have on the books, enforce the laws at the border, protect our border, enforce the laws in these cities, and support the police officers and things like that. They don't want to do that. So that's why we have this crime, these people, rampant crime in here, and this gun violence. And again, you talk about the youth violence. We have youth violence. They don't want to enforce the laws against the youth violence as well.
And just like people are trafficking people to come across the border illegally, criminal adults will hijack, if you will, and use juveniles to commit crimes because the juveniles are not going to be prosecuted in many cases at the adult level.
Absolutely. So again, it all goes back to enforce the laws that we have on the books. Just like Trump told her in that debate last week or this week, they have the tools needed right now to close that border down. And they refuse to do it. And so she sits in these interviews coming up with all these excuses, made up laws, made up policies that are already on the books that they're just not enforcing. And so instead of doing that, she wants to make a new law to take away our gun.
It is not because background checks are not happening that people are getting away with these firearms and then using them to shoot and murder people. That is not the reason why. Most of these mass shooters, if you will, and even the non-mass shooters, but people who are still murdering and causing non-fatal shootings, most of these people are already known by the criminal justice system.
Oh yeah. It's just a way, again, they want to create a new law. So they're starting if this gets passed, she'll start with the assault weapons, then it goes down to some other type of gun. Then it goes down to knives. Until we like Australia. We'll be like Australia. This is where they want to go, people. This is where they want to go. And so if they are able to get control of Congress, and if Kamala Harris and her goofy running mate get into office, we are on track to be like Australia.
Yep.
I
can't believe he didn't challenge her again to bring up the clip when she said she wanted to do the mandatory buyback. I think we have that clip.
We do have that clip here. Do you guys? Let me see here. All right, there it is.
Says if she becomes president, she will take what her campaign calls executive action to combat gun violence. She made those comments during a CNN town hall Monday night. Here's some of what she said.
Upon being elected,
I will give the United States Congress 100 days to get their act together and have the courage to pass reasonable gun safety laws. And if they fail to do it, then I will take executive action. And specifically what I will do is put in place a requirement that for anyone who sells more than 5 guns a year, they are required to do background checks when they sell those guns. I will require that for any gun dealer that breaks the law, the ATF take their license. And by the way, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Well, the ATF has been doing a lot of the A and the T, but not much of the F. And we need to fix that. And then on the third piece, because none of us have been sleeping over the last 2 years, part of what has happened under the current administration is they took fugitives off the list of prohibited people. I put them back on the list, meaning that fugitives from justice should not be able to purchase a handgun or any kind of weapon.
California Senator.
This is ridiculous. Again, conflating things. How about not having criminals, which some Democrats are advocating for, that if you've served your time, then why shouldn't you be able to buy a gun again? They just lie and they conflate and they use a lot of fear tactics. And unfortunately, it works in a lot of cases with them.
Yeah, it certainly does. I do want to acknowledge our super chatters here. Guys, we certainly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Forever Toxic says, when it comes to the left, I think of 2 Bible verses, Hosea 4:6 and Ecclesiastes 10:2. To you two beautiful Black conservative women. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Rob, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Says, wish my son would meet some rational ladies like you two. Thank you, Rob. Certainly appreciate you super chat.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous. I want to move to another part of her interview just quickly, where she talks about her economic plan once again, and there's a little glimpse of the Kamala Harris that we're used to seeing, that we didn't see in the debate much, but she makes an appearance here in this clip. Take a look here. Goofy.
Okay, wonderful. Good. Awesome. Madam Vice President, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for your time today. Our audience appreciates your time as well.
Of course.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election. You hear it more than I do. People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we can drill down on that a little bit. Talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people. What are 1 or 2 specific things you have in mind for that?
Specific.
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid.
Nobody cares.
My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
Don't care.
She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager.
Don't care.
I grew up in a community of hardworking people.
Nobody cares.
Construction workers.
We all have.
Nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to
this is just filler.
I've had the same experience. You know, but a lot of people will relate to this. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who are very proud of their lawn.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. And
cotton candy. That's
and
what
I was raised.
The interviewer asked her about her economic plan. She is doing an infomercial for True Green.
This is the same thing she did. This is the same thing she did on the debate. That was the first question, and this is the same story that she gave in the debate.
Raised to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity.
Okay.
And that we as Americans have a beautiful character.
Oh,
you know, we have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not.
There we go. I knew it.
Access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations.
What are you going to do?
Nothing.
And creating opportunity for people.
Filler. This is nothing but cotton candy.
My mother worked long hours, and
know this.
Our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her our second mother.
Nobody cares.
She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood.
You tried to close them down during the
a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Who cares? Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
All of this,
people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy means
that's what we're talking about.
America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition,
Section 8.
To help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance to be able to just get in the door.
How are they supposed to maintain? Once again, she's giving our money away, hardworking Americans' money, and eventually she's going to increase taxes on this. This plan has been shut down and shut out by economists all across the board. The $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers and the 3 million homes built. First of all, she's lining the pockets of big developers and corporations. Exactly. This is not for the everyday worker or a middle class that's going to get any help here, most of the help. We're actually going to see a big burden by it, because what she's going to do is cause increased inflation. She's going to cause the price of houses to go up because there's no supply. Anybody in real estate, one-on-one, you go to 1 week of real estate class, and they tell you this does not make any state. Real estate is state by state and shouldn't be controlled by the federal government or some federal mandate.
Exactly. Anytime, I don't understand why people don't understand. Anytime the government, as my grandmother would say, anytime the government supplies or funnels or feeds businesses or whatever with money, prices go up. Yeah. Prices go up because those entities then begin to rely on, they don't have, just like colleges, financial aid, all the financial aid, prices have gone up, prices don't go down, right? I mean, this happens over and over again.
Stop on that. That is a very good point. So what you're saying is a lot of this financial aid and things like that these students are getting to go to these colleges. We've seen that college has now increased. It's like exponentially. Exactly. The cost of college has gone up. So all the aid that they're getting, it's not really helping because the cost.
You can call it financial aid. It could be colleges. It could be medical care. Medical care has not gone, or the cost of it has not gone down. Financial aid by the government. Whenever the government infuses itself or money into whatever market, prices go up. That's number one. Number two, when the government decides or is able to decide who to distribute the taxpayers' money to, they have the control. When you keep more of your money, like Trump is saying, you get to control and decide where you want to spend it.
Yeah, you're right. And we saw, this is why we have this inflation that we have now. After the scandemic that they caused, after that went away, then they started handing out these checks and putting out these $1 trillion spending bills in Congress. And what it did was it caused inflation and slowed us down from recovery.
Exactly.
And so this is why we're in this. This is why now it costs like $9 for a carton of eggs.
Look, I'll give you two other examples. The war on poverty. When the government puts its money and efforts in things, they don't get better. The poverty has still increased exponentially. You talk about the war on, I'm going to call it the war on health or fat. Talk about the FDA. The government infused itself when we have people fatter than that more times than ever in American history. Young people, not even just adults, but young people. So almost, I'm going to say 100% everything, but I'll say 99% to leave that 1% for God. But 99% of the time, when the government infuses itself or people allow the government, want the government, things don't get better.
No. And you're right. And we see it right here actually in our local city government. You have city government in the pocket of many of these developers, many of what they so-called redevelopment projects within the city. They infuse these developers with all this money. They get huge tax breaks to do this development within the city. Tax breaks that if I wanted to buy a house in the city, I won't get anything nowhere near it. And this is what she's actually talking about, but she's talking about it on the federal level. So again, they wind up lining the pockets of these large developers. Now, they may, in fact, buy homes or buy property within these states. And they wind up usually turning them into renters. And again, it fuels the renter nation that the Democrats eventually want us going down. Right. They don't want us to own homes. They want a renovation. It's
a more expensive Section 8.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I want to acknowledge our super chatters. Did I miss any super chatters? Oh, okay, I did. LAPD SWAT. Hey, how's it going? Happy Friday. Says instead of telling everyone about how great it is with those illegals in Ohio, John Legend needs to talk about his name on that flight list at
Rikers. Is that Rikers Island or Epstein Island?
Might be Epstein Island. Oh, I didn't even know he was there when he went to Epstein Island. But you're right, that was in the news as well. He's talking about. Did you see that video, Shelley? Yeah. So this thing in Ohio is a mess. We've been covering it for the last week. I mean, you do have testimony of people who are saying there are Haitian migrants, illegal migrants in Ohio that are doing terrible things to pets.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, you have mainstream media and so-called city managers or people in leadership within the city of Springfield, Ohio, that are saying it's not occurring. They're saying this isn't occurring.
My bet is on the people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying here as well. I mean, it's so many. There's so many people that are coming forward talking about it.
Yeah, my bet is on the people.
Yeah. So, and then of course, what he was referring to, LAPD SWAT was referring to now, of course, John Legend came out with a video from his mansion in LA, his gated mansion, talking about people need to let the Haitian do what they're going to do.
Yeah,
you got something stupid.
Yeah. He talked about that's his hometown, but yet, like you said, he's always in LA in this gated, secure mansion, nowhere near these people. Would not even let these people near his mansion and his children. Fuck you, John Legend.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So, but this is what they do. We see this all the time. These elite Democrats, these elite leftists sit from their palace on a hill telling us how we need to make room for vagrants, how we need to be soft on crime and to push and vote for prosecutors and city managers who believe in soft on crime policies, while we got to walk home alone from the parking lot to our doors and things like that. And they do not. They have armed guards. You know, they live in gated communities.
Exactly.
Their kids get tutored and homeschooled and things like that. And they don't have to deal with this stuff.
Nope.
So, yeah, you're right. All right. Well, that does it for us tonight, guys. Wanted to just bring you some of these news reports and also, of course, get in this new interview by Kamala Harris. So any final thoughts, Shelley, that you have for the viewers?
No, I would say this. Please really spread the word. Don't be fearful to speak truth. And again, as conservatives, as people on the right, if you will, I know we don't just go around, KJ and I don't just go around just spouting off all this stuff. We're usually ask our opinions, right? And then people don't want to hear what we have to say. They get upset with us. But we're not afraid to. We're not afraid to. Been there, done that. We have to speak out. We have to speak out. We have to. We have a country to save. That's all I can say.
Yeah, we do. And we, as I mentioned earlier, are living in urgent times. And so we have to stick together as a community. You guys, thank you so much for your super chatters. Your donations do go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. We also have merch. So we do have merch. Guys, go to our website and you can shop our merchandise. Again, that's there. www.popandpoliticslive.com is our merch. Again, that also helps us to continue to push out this information. We got to get it out because the mainstream media is not doing it. You guys saw what happened to Candace Owens. Owens was deplatformed, I think now for 90 days. 90 days. She's been deplatformed. Whether you
demonetized, right? I mean, that's right. The same thing. Okay.
Right. So whether you agree with what she's saying or not, we agree. We believe in her right to say it. We are free speech people. We believe that she has a right to say it. And so we got to stick together, guys. We do. As constitutionalists, as freedom seekers, we have to stick together. All right. So again, until next time, thank you guys so much. We will see you on Monday. Count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.